Good morning. I'm joined by Pamela Isamata-Chom. This is what's happening in the country. In the mid-morning to Konea Gagwirao is a discussion. Now, let's start off with the 4.1 Ugandans that are supposedly going to be poor by 2040.
Yeah, this is according to a research that was done, and they are saying it was done by the Economic Policy Research Center. And they are warning that we could suffer a major setback as Ugandans if nothing is done to solve the problem of the unemployment and then the already poverty levels that are rising. We are going to see more Ugandans by 2040. Actually, we'll see Ugandans poor.
So right now we can't say with certainty that this is what will happen, but then we can say with a certain degree of accuracy and say the model predicts up to a certain degree of accuracy that if we don't take certain measures, then we shall see that our GDP per capita will continue to reduce further, and we shall see more people taken into poverty.
That is Dr. Linda Nakato. She's Economic Policy Research Center's. She's from that department, and she was saying that yes, we are going to have a national poverty line growing from 8.5 million people. That was in 2019. She says by 2021 there were 9.6 million people, but they're expecting that to rise again by another 4.1 million people by 2040.
Is she aware that the president of the Republic of this country a couple of weeks ago said that we are a middle-income country?
Yeah, we heard that. He was basing on a UBOS report, and then there was also the disputing of that by the World Bank, and then the president again hit back at the World Bank saying our GDP has grown, but he also mentioned by the way that this has to be maintained for a period of 3 years. But the World Bank is saying for us the way we see Uganda is not yet middle income.
We are still,
that is World Bank. President and UBOS have insisted that we are a middle income. We are growing into a middle income status because our GDP per capita is at 1.046.
The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. I think that's what we need to take away from this. Anyhow, let's go to this story where a private guard has shot a fellow colleague, a female, dead.
Yeah.
Men don't normally argue with women.
But
maybe there was some kind of relationship going on
that
that we
is
didn't
what
know.
some of the locals are suspecting, that these people could have been having an affair, and then they had a deep-heated argument, and the guy, shot her. Police has finally got him. He had been on the run. He's called Ogwoke. He's 27 years old. He's attached to Security Group Africa. Now, yesterday, they were having an argument. You remember these days now, there are two guards who guard. So these were guarding Stanbic Bank, Kagadi. At about 2:30, they got into an argument.
PM.
2:30 p.m. Then the guy got angry and just fired.
But this is the thing, guys.
According to police, they're not yet. They have arrested him, but they're yet to establish why he shot at her.
People are depressed.
The fact that they have been two at the workplace, Ogok doesn't explain to us whether there is any person who came, like an attacker, is the one whom we found with the company rifle, armed, and the cartridge recovered at the scene from the same weapon. So I believe that he's going to tell us more when.
Very sad, eh? I mean, my people's emotions are high. So please watch out the people you argue with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially your colleagues.
No, but I don't think that anyway as colleague. But we have had that issue of security guards losing temper and shooting each other, or not shooting actually each other, but shooting at people. Security guard gets annoyed, so it could be anything. By the way, maybe they were not even in a relationship, but maybe she kunyomad him. Or he was throwing in a coward and the chick was like,
That's one of the worst things you can never tell a man.
Even if you tell a man you're too poor, you can't afford me.
Those ones, you tell them every day.
We tell them, but it hurts some guys, it really hurts their ego. Like somebody tells you you're too poor.
So the difference is that this time they're telling a guy with a gun, Away from that, guys, is a survey that's been done. Border riders evacuate most of the accident victims along highways.
Yeah, there's a survey. This is according to Dr. Hannington Mwanga. He's Executive Director for Vision for Trauma. He says that according to a survey they carried out, most borders on highways are the ones responsible for carrying victims, and there are incidents where they could have offered first aid to a victim, but because they don't have the first aid kit, so don't have the methodology to do it, they do not know how to do it. By the time they transfer a victim, they have caused more harm
to the hospital.
good. No, to the victim, because the victim might suffer just a simple fracture, or maybe something can be done to stop the bleeding before they reach hospital, which can't be done because these guys are just helping by transferring these
They are
victims.
the ones that are readily available at that
readily
particular
available
time.
and also willing. But the thing is, they have started training. About 250 borders have been trained. They are giving them that skill that when you're carrying a victim to hospital, you know how to do it.
That's good news.
Emabega wali enkola ebaddewo omuntu afuna akabenje eggumba oluusi terimenyese nnyo oba kale limenyese naye nga emisuwa egitwala omusaayi tegimenyekeddeemu tegikutuse kaakati mu kutambuza omuntu ono okumujja mu kyalo oba okumujja waafunidde akabenje okumutuusa ku ddwaliro oluusi weesanga nti fracture eyo oba okumenyeka okwo kufuna complications n'atandika okuvaamu omusaayi n'okwonoona ebitundu by'omubiri ebirala. Kaakati enteekateeka eno ey'okutraininga ababodaboda egenda tuyamba nti bagenda kuba basobola okutambuza abantu abo.
That's a good thing, actually. We could save more lives, yeah?
Yeah, and that's why I think, anyway, this training for borders that the KCC is planning and is being disputed by the mayor, I think it also comes in handy.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, well, much as it's not related to first aid, but it will keep borders from being, because we also have increasing border related accidents. One, because guys are not trained. They do not know what to do on the road. Much as they're looking for chokulia, at the end of the day, life is more important. So if you know what to do on the road as a border rider, Chiyamba nnyo.
Apart from that, as we are ending up this discussion, guys, the Vice President, Alupo Jessica, has warned students who have been striking, because it has become something else now.
Yeah.
Every day striking. So what exactly did she say?
Alupo is saying that students progress. She was speaking at a school in Chitebi, and she was saying that it's important for kids to learn dialogue instead of striking, because you see, over the times, the schools that have been involved in strikes have been complaining about corporal punishment, poor feeding. Some of them have been saying that there is sexual harassment. So she's saying if you have those issues, the best way that you can settle them is in the future, because you're the next generation, is not by retaliating in strike, but by having dialogue with your authorities, school authorities.
This is not a solution to solving problems in any institution that you may join thereafter, but dialogue is the best mechanism of resolving the problems.
I thought she said we are going to arrest every student who is going to be called in a strike. Me as the Vice President of this country, I am tired of hearing strikes, and those of you that are setting schools on fire.
How many students will you arrest involved in strikes?
You arrest the ringleaders. You don't have to.
Yeah, they arrest the
There's always someone who fires up.
Yeah, there's someone who instigates it, but others follow. They are not pulled by, There are others who are brave enough, but the others also follow. And there are also very many silent majorities.
Meanwhile, here's the funny thing. You know the funny thing about strikes? Abakumamu omuliro si akanyuga ejjinja erisooka. Tugende. Normally that guy who says tugende. Momusanga mabega. Okitegera. Now there's this brave guy who is silent, who is like oba katonda yatutonda atya. Like for him, when you tell him go, the first instinct will be to go.
And with all the anger,
he will carry a stone. Me, I told you when I was still in secondary, I saw a guy in our class.
This guy,
the most quiet guy. I saw him throwing a stone and fighting with a policeman. I was like, I would never forget his name. He was called Douglas. I was going to mention the second one. I will never forget Douglas.
You were in shock. Like everyone was like, what is even capable of that?
Guys, away from that, coming up in this hour, I'll be having gossip. But look, listen, people are bitter. That is gravity omutuju telling somebody. But how pissed do you have to be to say such words? There's only one way to find out, guys. I'll be joined by Flora Show still in this hour. Mupoko Poko Tovao. He's Daddy Andre and Angela.
My baby, to where I be the whole baby. Baby. Changu tonerabira